everybody. Welcome back to the Internet Dad Show. I'm JJ, that's Deacon. We meet here Monday through Friday to talk about stuff. You're welcome to join us. We can talk about stuff too. Nobody's stopping you now. Nobody's stopping you because we have free speech again, baby.
We do.
I mean, until we're censored or taken offline.
I actually have a story that I put up in here today that I was like, I'm going to have to say, before I read this story, I'm going to have to tell the viewers that if you're watching on YouTube, you need to switch to Rumble because YouTube's going to censor us for me reading this story. I actually thought that this morning.
That's a nice hat you have there.
Thank you. You like it?
Yeah, but that keeps the
waves out. If you actually look into what these things do, how many waves and stuff, and
look into it where cancer. From who? Who do you look into it with?
We just saw a new tower go up not too long ago, and nobody asks questions about those towers. Wow. Oh, it's for cell phones. Okay.
What else could it be for?
I don't know, JJ. Why don't you use your brain and postulate on what else it could be used for and come up with a list of all the things and go, well, those are ridiculous, but Deacon would believe all those. So those are the ones that are probably true.
Nobody would do anything malicious to us with a tower.
I know, because everybody.
Everybody loves Jesus, and they need to. And if you don't love Jesus, let me tell you, you are making a massive mistake.
If you don't love Jesus, I hope one day you find out. I hope you one day you do.
I hope you find out the easy way and not the hard way, because there's a hard way, and you really don't want that. So
I didn't for a long time. I didn't believe that. No, I didn't believe in all that. Well, I just thought it was a story.
Listen.
It was all stories. It's just all stories. And I understand what you're trying to teach me in the story, but no, I don't believe all that crap. And then one day I was like, is this real? I can't just, you know me, I'm not this person that just takes somebody's word for it. I want to find out for myself. And so I started looking into it.
That's the way.
Yeah. I started looking into it and reading books.
Honestly, it's so easy, really, because we're immediately derailed. That's cool though. If there's a God that loves you but wants you to be able to make choices, you can choose or not choose. You can believe or not believe. You have that autonomy, right? But there's a shortcut. There is a super, super shortcut. You could just be like, God, I don't know if you're real, but if you're real, I'd like to know how to believe if you're real. That's all it takes.
Everybody wants proof. Everybody wants proof. They want proof.
As soon as you start that, if it's genuine, as soon as you start that, like doors open for you, and like you can't prove things.
Yeah, I think proof of God is everywhere. We just don't see it that way. We don't look at it that way. I mean, every single thing you look at is the ability to look at things is. God is I told them
the world's awesome.
I was talking to I was at a college party. This was 30 years ago. I bet it was 25 years ago. And I was at this college party in Murray. And I remember walking into the kitchen. There were several people in the kitchen. There was a guy, and I was filling up my drink with whatever I was drinking. And I was talking to this guy. I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know him from Adam. And he said he was pre-med. He's like, what are you majoring? Pre-med, blah, blah, blah. 90% of freshmen are pre-med. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, from pre-med, and we started talking, and he ended up saying he was an atheist. And I was like, you're an atheist? And he said, yeah. And I said, and you're pre-med? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you understand how the nervous system works in the body? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, and you're an atheist. You think all of that just in our nervous system, you think all of that was just random by chance put together and does not have an intelligent design? And he was just like, he had never thought about it that way. I was like, dude, just the nervous system in the body is mind-boggling. How in the crap humans will never be smart enough to do
Mm-mm.
that. Humans won't. When we may be able to create something to do something.
Oh my gosh, we are gonna hold on. We're we're gonna segue into some stuff, but I wanted to do this other story.
Yeah, let's do the other story. We'll talk about that.
Then in it, Deacon, what I really wanted to ask you this morning is
42.
do you trust our friends, and I'm not saying allies, we'll say dependence. I think dependence is a good word since we give them a lot of money and we get nothing in return. Do you trust our dependents and kind of friends, Ukraine, to use their spent fuel rods in they have a bunch of nuclear reactors to make junkyard bombs? Because the report is out now that Ukraine believes it can build nuclear weapons with their spent fuel rods. Look at this. This is great.
This is really not a good story. This is kind of concerning.
Yeah, no.
This is the type of thing that a historian looks at that's like, oh shit, this could be a catalyst for something really big.
Or this, I mean, my first thought is like, they're not really going to build fuel rods or build nuclear bombs. What they're going to do is threaten us so that we're like, no. Here, we'll sell you some more regular bombs because Trump's about to come into office and be like, you're cut off. You better make peace because you're getting nothing else from us.
Well, that's probably what happened. They were probably like, crap. Last week, they were like, crap, we're fixing to lose all of our crap. I need a bunch of people to talk about what we can do. And some dude in the back was like, we may be able to make dirty bombs out of our spent fuel rods. And they're like, okay, let's put that one up here on the freaking board, on the chalkboard. Anybody else? You know, that's what happened.
I know that's exactly what happened. After a briefing produced for the Ukrainian Defense Ministry allegedly explaining to policymakers that the country could rapidly develop rudimentary nuclear bombs from spent fuel rods and long-range ballistic missiles to carry them, states that this could be achieved in just months. So, according to some Ukrainians, they think that they can take their junk fuel rods from... Can I remind you that like Chernobyl is in Ukraine and Chernobyl blew up? And they've got more than that. They got like Zaporizhzhia or whatever. I don't know. I can't say all the junk names, but they have these nuclear reactors and they have a bunch of nuclear spent fuel rods, bunch of nuclear waste. And they're saying like, I think what we can do is we can just take those and stick them on top of one of these old rockets.
How do you feel about them? This is almost like a threat.
That's exactly
a very, very, very thickly veiled threat. They're like, well, we could just make some of these dirty bombs, knowing full well that a dirty bomb is a radioactive dispersal device. It does not blow up. It mixes explosives with radioactive material and it disperses the radioactive material over places.
That's dirty.
That is, it's very, that's a bad one. I mean, those are bad. That's like mustard gas level bad, in my opinion. You damage everything. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I wasn't even sharing this picture. I'm supposed to be sharing this picture.
I thought you were sharing us.
Oh, yeah. Claimed as an exclusive. Yeah.
Sorry. Do you feel like this is a real thickly veiled threat?
Well, okay. So what you have is, let's set the context, right? Donald Trump just won a landslide election. I mean, it's not a landslide, but it's landslide-ish. It's in the domestic U.S. politics. Trump won the White House, the Senate, the House of Representatives. He won the popular vote. He has a mandate, and he's coming into office saying, "We're settling this before I even take the oath. You guys are going to sort this out." And Russia is signaling, yeah, we like we want to. We wanted to negotiate from the beginning, but
Russia wanted to negotiate from the beginning that the media didn't tell us and brainwashed all of us Americans. Basically, Russia made a deal decades ago, and
right.
we were all like, okay, here's the deal. And then as soon as the deal was made, America and everybody started reneging on the deal.
Yeah, that's true. We did that. We supported
off.
NATO, and NATO was just encroaching.
And
So
we were like, we're not going to encroach anymore. Okay, we're not going to do it anymore. This was back with Gorbachev. We're not going to encroach anymore. Yeah, and then they did, and they keep going, and it pissed him off. And then they're trying to sell that this guy's the bad guy, which he very well may be a bad guy. But in this situation, would you have done what that? I mean, if your neighbor's like, dude, your fence, he keeps just moving closer and closer, and you're like, dude,
right,
no more. You can't go over anymore, and your dad and him have a deal. And then your dad's gone, and it's 30 years later, and you've been in there for 20 years in your house, and your neighbor's like, screw this guy. I'm going in, and I'm taking this freaking part of his yard. You'd be pissed off too.
Right. So this is, I think, Ukraine, who has little to no leverage at all, because they have the only reason they can keep fighting is because the U.S. is paying for NATO, and NATO is supplying Ukraine with a bunch of equipment. And Trump's going to come in, and he's already said once, like, we're just going to you pay your fair share, and they're not. And they've taken hundreds of billions of dollars from us. So that it's unlikely that Ukraine is going to have. Yeah, well, that's true. It's unlikely that the United States is going to back Ukraine in any further negotiations. So as Ukraine and Russia sit down to this table, Ukraine's going to need some kind of leverage that they can be like, here, we've got something, so we have some way to negotiate. I think that's what this is.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
So the other thing you got to remember, just because they say they're going to do this does not mean they have the actual ingenuity and smarts to do this. I think there are some really intelligent individuals in the Ukraine. But I mean, we could say over here, we're going to do this, and we have more of the means to do it.
Right.
Just because you have the equipment, potentially, doesn't mean you have the know-how.
I mean, do you guys want us to not only not be on your side? Do you want us to like actively be against you? Because like that, some extra nuclear weapons in the hands of an absolutely corrupt country is the last thing that I want. That is a corrupt country. All right. So we have this news as well. I'm sure you guys saw this because I saw you guys posting about it. We have we said yesterday, Trump is doing a daily drip. He's doing a daily drip, just maintaining the news cycle, maintaining the energy, holding in the political power to maintain the mandate. He's doing a daily drip of appointments, which keeps the news cycle activated, which keeps his supporters like, all right, yeah. And so Donald Trump has nominated Rep. Matt Gaetz out of Florida to be the Attorney General. And as soon as that went public, Matt Gaetz resigned as House Representative, as the House member for Florida. He resigned because it takes so long in order to get a special election organized and have his seat be replaced by January 3rd. So Merrick Garland joins the Trump admin 2.0 team. What do you guys think of I said Merrick Garland, I mean Matt Gaetz. Merrick Garland is in for some deep doo-doo because Merrick Garland's going to be on the investigation list, I think.
So I got a text message from a buddy
too.
yesterday who is a Harris supporter. First of all, it's important that you can still have friends that don't agree with you. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people are forgetting right now. All of these like anti-Trump videos that I've seen have been like All of you are evil. All of you are idiots. All of you are
Yeah,
like, dude,
it's so
you can
hyperbolic.
still have differences of opinion. So anyway, my buddy texted me and he's very upset about Matt Gates thing. And I just reminded him simply, I'm like, dude, I'm still a follower of Jesus. I still love my neighbors. Nothing changes. It doesn't matter to me who Trump appoints. I might laugh about some of the appointments and I might raise eyebrows about some of the
Oh, I'm in the
appointments,
wrong
but
page.
people need to
I
chill.
moved it.
This is good. This is an interesting one, though. I was not expecting this. But yeah,
This is a 5-minute long video. I'm not going to play all of it, but this was back in June. Okay,
Okay.
so there's Matt, and he happens to be talking to Merrick Garland.
You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fonnie Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own
The question is whether you
decisions.
communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them and will you provide those
If you
communications?
make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative
But see,
Affairs.
here's the thing.
They
You
will
come in
respond
here and you
appropriately.
lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country.
Listen to this one.
When you were a judge, I'm just curious,
This is funny.
did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No,
No, and you didn't because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't because there's a federal rule
Oh.
barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process,
Right
like,
here.
shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction, which has to be respected. I won't comment on it.
But
That
watch
case
Matt.
is still
Listen.
ongoing. The defendant
Mr.
has
Attorney General,
indicated-
I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting
about
off
one
of the
more time,
notoriety
by
of
the
a
way.
case that was before your court?
I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
Yes or no?
me, you're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're
For
connecting the
another-
dots, Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety.
Oh, what
You know
happened?
the very reason there's a federal rule against
He goes after him, man.
We were about
Now,
to have
the
the most
only
entertaining
thing
2
I-
years. It's going to be
the one
so
thing
fun.
that I got frustrated with Matt Gaetz about several years ago when he entered Hunter Biden's laptop hard drive as evidence. Do y'all remember him doing that?
Yep.
My issue with that is chain of custody. When you have evidence, there's a chain of custody that evidence has
Sure.
to follow. That laptop hard drive is going to be thrown out now because we don't know where it was from point A to point B. Yes, it got lost, obviously. Do I believe that's his actual hard
Wait, what do
drive?
you mean it got lost? The hard drive? No,
Yeah.
there was a copy. Rudy Giuliani made a copy, and Rudy Giuliani distributed the copy. But the laptop was originally submitted by the store owner to the FBI, so the FBI had custody of it.
Right, and then it disappeared. Did it not?
I think they just lost track of it. They found it again,
Okay.
but it was
But
in the FBI's custody.
So the hard drive that that Gates submitted. Where was it? What did he do with it while he had it? This is what this is where the chain of custody thing starts to destroy evidence, because there's so much unchecked potential. And if there was any validity, I'm speaking as plainly as I can without biasy, but so I'll say if there was any validity to the case, by having that in his possession, he has thus created a weakness in the evidence that was there, because you don't know what he did or did not do.
I believe that you are. I might be mistaken about this, but I think that Matt Gaetz submitted a copy of the hard drive to the congressional record because that puts it in the public record.
If there was a copy of it, cool. If it was the actual hard
there
drive,
there were definitely copies. So when the store owner that had the actual hard drive, I think he made a duplicate of it. It's just a routine process of repairing the machine because something was wrong with it. So what you do is you make an image of the disk and you keep the image and you try to work on the machine. Well, when he submitted the laptop to the FBI, he still had the image that he had made, and he gave the image to Rudy Giuliani, and Rudy Giuliani having the image of the hard drive, finding that the FBI was basically stonewalling everything. They were not investigating. The FBI was not doing their job. They were not investigating this. They basically tried to sweep it under the rug, and finding that the FBI wasn't doing anything, Rudy Giuliani distributed it to several other people, journalists, which I think that's how it got to the New York Post, and then other people for corroboration. So what we have is identical copies of the hard drive that a lot of people have, and one of those got to Matt Gaetz, and I think that is what was submitted to the public record in Congress. I believe that's what happened.
Okay.
But certainly the one that the FBI has, the actual physical hard drive, that should still be in their custody, because if it's not evidence, it has to be returned to the owner, I believe. And the owner is actually the store owner, because Hunter Biden forfeited ownership after 90 days because he didn't pay his bill. So I believe, but it definitely is something you could deep dive on in terms of custody, and will certainly be an issue in the legal process if it ever goes to trial. I'm not sure it ever will.
I got something else here for you. Oh, you still got a couple of political things.
Yeah, I just wanted to run down the list here.
I've got one more political thing for us too. Trump admin 2.0. Here's the list of people that we know so far. Vice President JD Vance. Chief of Staff is Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles is the person who ran Trump's campaign this time. Yep,
And by the way,
smart woman. She's got like how many PhD? She's got a bunch.
This was a winning campaign, top to bottom. Like, they just destroyed. Deputy Chiefs of Staff include Stephen Miller. He's the bald guy. You've seen him before. James Blair, Taylor Budowich, and Dan Scavino. I know Dan Scavino too. I think I follow him on X. White House counsel will be Bill McGinley. Secretary of State will be Marco Rubio, who's also from Florida, I believe.
Yeah.
Attorney General Matt Gaetz. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Do you know the name Pete Hegseth? We didn't talk about it on the show.
Yeah. Why do I know that name?
You know that name because he's on Fox and Friends. He is a 20-year military veteran. Well, sure, but you've seen him and seen clips and stuff. 20-year military veteran. He's got a degree from 2 different Ivy League schools. He's got, I think, a Bronze Star or something like that. He's a decorated 20-year combat veteran. But he only ever got to 04. He never went higher than 04. So he is a boots on the ground soldier officer, and he's going to be the new Secretary of State, which bypasses the traditional political hierarchy of officers become generals and then the Joint Chiefs of Staff and that kind of rank. Well, he's going all the way around that. So we're going to have a guy in charge of the Department of Defense that knows what it's like to have sand in his boots. So that's Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth's pretty awesome. Secretary of Homeland Security will be Kristi Noem. She's the governor of
Noem?
I can't remember.
How you spell that?
Kristi Noem. Noem. Kristi Noem. It's with a K. Kristi.
Oh, well, it'll find it. Oh, maybe not. Come on. Well, that's
No,
not right.
that's wrong. That's wrong.
Okay.
Kristi Noem. We've seen border czar Tom Homan. We talked about him on Monday. The new director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, we know her.
Yeah. And National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. And we have the Department of Government Efficiency is going to be run by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. So
I'm glad you said that. This was a perfect timing of me getting back up to this. But in honor of the Elon and Vivek being picked as the heads of the Department of Government Efficiency, I want you to watch if you have time after the show, I'll post this where you can go and watch this. It's about 11 minutes long. But this right here is a representative. He is actually a senator from Oklahoma, this James Lankford. If you go to jameslankford.com, the very first thing it says is James Lankford is a strong conservative and servant leader who is committed to God, family, and the Constitution. So I like the guy just from the first sentence. So this is just listen to him for a second.
Is this really how we want to be able to spend Americans' taxpayer dollars? We've set up a top 10 list that we listed out of some of the things that we just say, okay, of the 50 different examples, and we don't try to go into every single spending area, but we lay out in the guide for federal fumbles 50 different examples and just try to ask the question, is this the best way to be able to spend America's dollars? And again, we've all got different perspectives and different ideas on it. I'm just asking a question. For instance, last year, the State Department did a grant to Ecuador to host 12 drag shows in Ecuador with American tax dollars. Now, may have different opinions in this room on drag shows.
Why?
I'm just asking the simple question. Is the best use of American tax dollars to actually fund drag shows in Ecuador with U.S. tax dollars? I don't believe that it is. Last year, we actually did a different funding through the State Department.
This one because
that was actually done. Actually, this is the National Science Foundation. Excuse me, strike that. It seems like a State Department thing. National Science Foundation last year did a study of butterflies in Europe. So we funded with American taxpayer dollars a butterfly study in Germany where we paid a Swedish scientist to study butterflies in Germany. I'm not real sure why American tax dollars, that was the best use of that, but that was one of the grants that was done last year.
So he goes through for about 10 minutes and, this one was the one I'm most intrigued about. $30,000 to study the secret language of butchers in Paris.
What?
I think that's I think we spent $30,000 well there. Because first of all, I didn't even know butchers had a secret language, but if they did have a secret language, I think it would look, where is it at? Damn it. Where did the,
I'm finding out about this right now.
I thought they just ate cheese and breads and wine. They have butchers in Paris?
Wait a minute. I think I've seen a video of someone actually, and we didn't know what this was at the time, but I think this is the secret language of butchers in Paris. Hang on, I gotta share this tab instead.
Whoa.
This is, you think this was the secret language of butchers? Do you think they have sign language with knives?
I'm bowing out on that one.
Sorry, I had to make the Britney Spears joke.
Is a mental case.
We spent $750,000 for the New York Metropolitan Opera to get a fire alarm. $350,000 to develop AI smart toilets. And then we spent, the number one thing is we spent 660,000 American taxpayer dollars
Wait, I'm sorry.
every week. When you get this taken out of your check, you will know that a part of your check you worked this week so that they could study the impact that COVID had on Russian women.
Okay, no, we're going back to secret language of butchers. Hang just a second. Listen to. Sorry, I can't let this go. Louche bem is a type of slang. This is the slang spoken by butchers in Paris. It is a variant of the slang form largonji and similar to these other two, in which individual words are disguised by a set of rules. Listen to these set of rules. For example, in Havaneas, AV is inserted after every consonant followed by a vowel. Bonjour thus becomes bonjour. Louchebom, which is the butcher secret language, substitutes for the consonant at the start of the word. The original consonant is then reattached at the end of the word, followed by an M or MA suffix. So they take the first consonant and they put it in the back. Does that sound familiar to you?
Pig Latin.
That's exactly what it is. We spent how much money studying the secret language of butchers, and it's the French equivalent of Pig Latin.
Elway Ukfe Ime.
All right.
Oh my God. Oh, you learn something new every day here.
Ukfe Ime.
Okay, carry on with your list.
No, that was the end. That was the end of
much.
the list. That was pretty funny. The secret language of butchers.
Oh my
French
God.
butchers. Paris
French-
butchers in
butchers.
Paris.
It's almost like
Butchers
thieves
in
can't. In Dungeons and Dragons, the thieves have thieves can't, where they say things, and I mean, the medical professionals have stuff like that. I've been privy to some of those
Yeah.
terms and stuff that don't mean anything that
Okay.
that means something.
I hope we don't croissant
I got-
this again.
I got one
Croissant.
more political story. Earlier in the election cycle, we did at least one show where we talked about the I think they're called, it's Alan Lichtman's keys to the presidency, keys to the White House, which are these 13 criteria that are used to judge whether or not a person will be elected. There's 13 criteria, and according to Alan Lichtman and his researcher partner from the early 1980s, if a sitting president gets 7 of the 13 keys, he will be reelected president, something like that. That's more or less the rules. Well, Alan Lichtman was predicting, based on the Lichtman keys, the keys to the presidency, that Kamala Harris would win the presidency. And I don't know if you know this or not, she lost in an astounding, comprehensive way.
Oh no!
Well, Alan Lichtman is now. Oh yeah, it didn't work out. Alan Lichtman is now lashing out at Fox News, at X, for Kamala's loss and the complete disassembly of the Lichtman keys to the presidency. So he's not happy because basically we just took 40 years of his model of predicting the president and we flushed it down the toilet. Here's Alan.
Yes, as I said, things could go wrong. There could be unprecedented events that change the pattern of 160 years of history. That's what happened here. 2 things. Number one, disinformation. We've always had disinformation, but disinformation
This
has
is what Coke
exploded
sounds like right
to
here.
an unprecedented degree. You talked about a grievance election, but a lot of that grievance was driven by disinformation. Starts with Fox News and conservative media, conservative podcasters with tens of millions of views. But we've seen something brand new this time. The 300 billionaire Elon Musk putting his thumb on the scales through his control of X, formerly Twitter. It's been reported
By letting people
that
say
his
whatever they want at any
misinformation
time.
has had billions, literally billions of views. And this has spread to every aspect of this election. There is misinformation about
What about all the
everything
rich
about the
celebrities?
economy, inflation, jobs, unemployment, the stock market.
You mean the ones that were paid by the Kamala Harris campaign and they had a
I-
ineffective turnout?
Name 5 billionaire Republicans.
Right. Yeah.
And you're
No,
you're
there's
gonna
not.
be really slow to do that. Then if I say
Mhm.
name 5 billionaire Democrats,
Mr.
it's really easy to start rattling them off.
Mr. Lichtman is in damage control because he spent the last half century or so profiting off of these keys to the White House, and it got
And there may be
totally
some
invalidated.
to his keys, but that doesn't mean they're absolutes.
It just means that his model doesn't account for people saying having free speech and saying whatever they want. His model doesn't work if you let people talk on their own, which is what we did. We talked.
I
All
had
right.
no comment.
Anyway, I just think it's kind of funny.
Dave didn't. He says no comment.
I had no comment.
Yeah. Me
was very
and Deke talked, not this guy. This guy didn't say
Yeah.
anything.
I had no comment.
He has had no.
Dave is here as our conscience.
I
He's
struggle
here
with that
to-
word.
Yes, that's another one. Conscience.
Mm,
He's here to monitor us and tell us that when me and you start laughing at the bad jokes and Dave sits back in his chair like there, I know that I'm not supposed to be laughing at this joke.
what are the three personas of like the personality and psychology?
Id,
It's like
ego, and super ego.
ego and super ego.
Id, ego, and super
we-
ego.
So
Oh man,
Who's
which
who?
one are we?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've studied these.
Wait a minute, I got to look this up.
Yeah,
I think
we do.
Ego and super ego.
So which one are
The
are
ego
we?
is tasked with balancing reality with the demands of desire. Id and morality, super ego. Morality
Oh.
is super ego. Desire is
That's
id.
him. Yeah, he's the super ego.
Your
Which one
morality.
of us is? Yeah, him.
I'm super
That's him.
ego?
He's morality. He's super ego.
I'm
That's super,
id.
that's morality, right?
No, I thought that was it. Was morality? I don't know.
I thought the id was like just whatever you want.
Oh goodness gracious! Hold on, let me bring up.
Where did
this.
it go? Look it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring up the picture so we can figure it out. So we can all change our names real quick.
I'm
I
trying
can't actually change my name.
Oh, we can't. I just
Super ego.
noticed that.
The super ego has conscience. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. We agree that Dave is super ego, morals and virtues. We
Okay.
Yeah.
agree on that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Deke,
Yeah.
Deke, which one of us is ego and which one of us is id?
Beak is gonna go with id, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking id.
I think Deke is id.
Yeah, I think you're
I think we all
JJ,
agree on
you're
that one.
ego. All right,
We all agree on that one.
All right.
all right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
id, ego, and super ego. Sorry, we can't change our names, folks.
There's Freud's
Yeah.
iceberg model. The id is completely in the unconscious mind, where the ego is more in the conscious mind, but it's a little bit in the unconscious mind, and the super ego is pretty well divided. So you're
Yeah.
more in the conscious mind. I'm completely in the unconscious mind, and Dave is halfway.
I'm
in
I'm
between.
the
I
Venn
think that
diagram.
describes us perfectly.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
What-
All right. Let's
We
do
need to change the name of the show.
Change the name of the show.
I can't,
That's pretty good.
The Internet Freud
I'm
Show.
gonna chop.
The internet Freud dads.
Let me pull my phone up in case we have.
Ah,
Guys, I have an insurance story that I want to go over. Can we talk about an insurance story?
Sure.
All
yes,
right.
because we've heard a thing or
Um,
two. That was a farmer's reference. Farmer's
Oh my
insurance.
god. Bum 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 bum.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing
Yeah.
or two.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to find one that doesn't have ads, and I'm afraid to.
It's
click
crazy.
on,
Did you ever
your
watch
code.
the TV show Oz on HBO?
Yes, good show.
I never watched it, but
Very graphic.
what's his name? The farmer's guy, Jameson.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson. The guy who plays J. Jonah Jameson.
The
What is his
guy that
name?
plays J. Jonah Jameson, he's the head of the
Um,
Aryan Brotherhood on that show.
Yeah. And then the guy who does so he's from Farmers Insurance, right? And the guy
The guy that
who
does the other
sells
insurance
the Mayhem,
commercial
yeah,
where he's
two ex-cons
Mayhem.
selling insurance. Yeah,
He,
Mayhem.
he was a main character in that show as
Yeah.
well. I always thought that was funny. What is
Bunch
his
of
name
ex-cons
that's going to
selling
drive
insurance.
my name?
Yeah. Goodness. Love his
J.K.
stuff.
Simmons.
J.K.
Simmons.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
He was a member. He is a member of my son's fraternity. Just not the same school.
Oh, really?
And Fred Rogers.
Ooh, wow, really?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers, same, and J.K. Simmons and my son all in the same fraternity.
The guy that sells the insurance, the Mayhem guy, in that show, he's got a brother that's in there with him that he tries to take care of, and his brother's like simple-minded. So it's a really interesting arc that they have. I haven't seen that show in 20 years, but I remember it was
So,
good.
Insurance.
So
We got there.
yeah, so here is the story. Suspects allegedly dressed up as a bear and carried out attacks on their cars as part of an insurance scam. This is the video. This is allegedly, or alleged by them, a bear in a car that's damaging the interior. And then they would, file an insurance claim and, I don't know, upgrade the interior of their car. There's just scratches on the seats. They're so straight and perfectly even.
And they don't break the leather or pleather.
Yeah, it's just
Bear
scratches.
claws would rip into that.
Gonna need to rip. Gonna need to update. Look at that.
God, that looks fake as hell.
Yeah. So here, look. There's the costume. So these guys did not get away with it. It was 4 different guys that were in some sort of a scam in California. Department of Insurance claiming the bear had caused damage to their Mercedes cars and then sent video footage. Upon further scrutiny, an investigation determined the bear was a person in a bear costume. So chalk that one up to things not to do, folks. That's not a way to get your interior of your car like updated, with newer leather.
I mean, it might work, whatever. As the bear articulates his arm in a way that only humans can. Hang on, let me move the wheel here. And
look at this.
No. I saw Fozzie drive. I know bears can drive.
well, that's true.
Hold
Fozzie
on.
Bear can drive.
In
I
his
have
natural
witnessed that.
habitat. A
Yes.
Studebaker.
Yes, he drives a
See right
Studebaker.
here. You see this thing right here? Oh, you can't see can you see my mouse? There's
Yeah.
my mouse.
Yeah.
See this thing right here? It's
Yeah.
like a little hand claw with 1, 2,
It's a meat shredder.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
It's a meat shredder. We have one.
Didn't commit. They didn't commit. They didn't tear the actual seat. They just scratched it. You should have committed. It may have been more convincing if you committed.
True.
All right. I thought that was fun. I got one more kind of fun story. What do you got, Deke?
I got a train going by.
Choo choo.
I have a. If you're going to tell the very top story, I have something that will go along behind it.
Okay, sure. Let's do that one. Let me pull this up. Here we have, let's see. There is a newly discovered deep sea nudibranch that shed. What in the hell?
I don't know what words you're saying.
I don't either, but it
I don't
sounds
either.
cool.
That's not what it's the same story, but they've gave
I think
us
you
some
said
weird
nude
science
beach.
words.
I thought he was
Here
talking
was
about nude beach too.
nudibranch.
What'd you say about
Nudibranch. Here we go. California researchers have discovered a new mysterious gelatinous creature.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
See
here
it.
you go.
Kids, don't throw your
Cool.
Jello out. That is cool looking.
This is an undated photograph provided by the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute. It shows a mystery mollusk with a
No, that's a face hugger.
Yeah, it looks like a face hugger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like a face hugger.
This was observed by the MBARI's remote operated vehicle Doc Ricketts offshore of Central California at a depth of 1,660 meters. That's
How many? How many Americans feet is that?
That's a 1.6 kilometers down. So I don't know. It's almost a mile, three quarters of a mile.
Yeah.
It looks like it's bioluminescent. So yeah.
Wow. I love when they find new animals, and I love watching those videos of the undersea subs and stuff like that shows these undersea animals. I don't know. I'm just very fascinated with it because light does not penetrate that far down in the water. So these animals have they have these things that freaking help them down there in the dark. I always thought the anglerfish was very cool with the little but the bioluminescence stuff we've discovered is like it's like muscles flexing on some of those. It's like,
oh, is it really?
How we flex our muscles and it injects the chemical into the muscle and whatnot. It's the same thing when like a squid does that. They found it's like us flexing our muscles, and they're able to change their colors that way. It's very interesting. And this bioluminescence stuff with these deep sea animals, and the fact that we're finding brand new things all the time. Man, one day we're going to come down there and the thing's going to open. They're going to be like, look at this weird rock. And the rock's going to open up and it's going to be a giant eyeball. And then the Leviathan is going to come back and destroy us all.
I think that's like its brain that you can see. I mean, like right there. Doesn't that look like a brain?
Probably.
And can you imagine the amount of pressure that is on this creature?
That's why it's just
depth?
Yeah, that's crazy.
With a voluminous hooded structure at one end, a flat tail fringed with numerous finger-like projections at the other.
And that's to grab onto your chest, to hold onto your chest while it's sucking your face.
And colorful organs in between. The team initially struggled to place this animal in a group. After viewing more than 150
Xenomorphs is the group that we place them into.
Yeah.
It's an infant xenomorph.
Yeah, this study was paid for by the Wayland Corporation. So
Waylon Jennings?
Sorry. Waylon Jennings. No, not Waylon Jennings. Wayland Yutani. All right. I got one more story that
I got something
saw, and I was. Yeah, you said you had something to go with that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is a real quick one, but I could run across this one this morning, and I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to give you the headlines because our friends in Japan are always coming up with something, and they have found this gel that turns sunlight directly into clean fuel. This new hydrogel developed by Japanese scientists uses sunlight to effectively produce hydrogen from water, mimicking natural photosynthesis. This innovation promises to enhance clean energy production by improving efficiency and reducing costs, potentially replacing current technologies with a more sustainable solution.
If you slather it on a lizard, does the lizard grow? And if the lizard ingests it, does it shoot out lightning?
We need to find that out. We need to get some.
Let's research. Let's get a grant and try.
I bet we could get a grant.
You can literally get a grant to study anything, I guess.
Study butterflies in Germany. So
I thought that run computer models first because we don't want to hurt anything.
I think we need to study the secret language of third graders.
No.
This is for JJ here in a couple of years.
No.
Wait, no. It's not third graders. We need to study the secret language of middle schoolers.
Oh, is it middle schoolers?
When
When
they
did
Yeah,
they
dude.
figure out Pig Latin?
when they hit 6th grade,
It's not Pig Latin. They don't use Pig Latin anymore. They have their
No,
own little
they
skibbly
have their
language now.
own words and their own phrases that
Mhm.
and let me give you a tip of what I used to do. Back when my kids were younger, the thing was dabbing. Do you remember dabbing? Yeah,
Yeah, that's this, right?
microphone. Yeah. So what I would do as the father, every single time I addressed it when my kids were in middle school, I called it dapping, dap, and I'd do this or something like this, throw my arms, like up or something.
Do it wrong and
I would
say it
do
wrong.
it wrong and say it wrong on purpose to get them. My only goal was to get my
Cringe.
daughter to look at me and go, I just wanted that. You're so dumb. Look, that's it. That sustained my love. That was all that I wanted was for her.
I can't remember the details of the story, but I was driving my kid a few weeks ago, and I was doing something in the car, and my daughter said, "Dad, stop it! I know
Jill.
what you're doing."
That was Jill.
Oh, was it? Yeah,
Oh, yeah. You told us.
Mom told me that you're frustrating me on purpose just because you think it's funny. And I was like,
Jill-
Mom told you that. Why did she tell you that?
Why would mom betray my trust? Damn it.
The ladies stick together, JJ.
Jill is going. Yeah,
I
they do.
know.
Jill is
Never
going to be the
know.
one to give you the stop it, Dad. Look, but
Oh,
Lily's going to be the one to be like, that's funny. I want to do it too. Oh, that's great.
All right. Here we go. Here's our robot news of the day. Look at this, guys. I hope you haven't seen it yet.
Yes, I saw this the other day.
Ghostly white humanoid robot with water-powered muscles. Look
I
at
was
this.
looking for the
What?
video. Oh, you
That's
got the video
creepy.
of it. Yeah.
All right, can I bigonate it? I
Bigonate
wanna-
it?
Yeah, bigonate it.
There you go.
This robot uses
That is a demon.
water to
Demon.
simulate muscles.
Wrap it in skin, and it's a demon.
It's really
Yep.
interesting how many of those move just to do simple things. Mute that thing.
Yeah, it's pretty noisy. You guys can hear the mechanical movements of it, but dude, that thing.
Once again, this goes full circle to our conversation that we started the show with about just look at how many wires and stuff have to move in that we had to design. And then think
Right.
about our muscle system in our body and the fact that some people don't believe there's a grand designer. You don't have to believe in my grand designer, but you don't believe that you think that, like Dave, we were talking about the nervous system. The nervous system alone in the body should just boggle your mind
the
when you
eye.
understand. Yeah, how
The
it works,
eye.
how
Oh
the
my
eyeball
word.
works, how everything works in the body.
processes. And
But
So-
look
amount
at
of
that.
color
Look at
spectrum.
that. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Clone Robotics is not aiming to put these in your house. Instead, these robots will replace humans at an industrial assembly or manufacturing line without losing dexterity and function. So their goal is to basically
take your
make
jobs.
to take your jobs with these robots.
Put them on the front lines.
So-
Let them fight.
I don't know.
What
I
could
don't know
go
what
wrong?
generation this is, but unlike those heavy metal robots that
Hmm.
electrical powers and gears and all that, which I think we've seen one that can maybe lift like 160 pounds or whatever. These can replicate human levels of strength and dexterity.
Could you ever? You could conceive it. Let me. Do you ever believe we could get to the point in the world where these
Yes.
robots, like we said, these robots are going to take over industrial type jobs and stuff like that, which we say, well, we're losing our jobs because of that. Well, do you think we could get to a world where these robots and stuff do this labor for us that opens us up into a more creative, renaissance-y, artsy era of 2, 3, you know, however many 100 years in a point of history, to where we're not laboring over this stuff as much as we have for the past 100 years. Now this is opening up more time for an artsy era, because you read about that in history, you know, if you go through like France and stuff like that. And do you think we would ever get to that point because of this, or do you think there's a more negative outlook to this?
I think that humans need work. And I don't mean like they just need to be working. I think humans need.
But what I mean is like,
but we redefine work.
we
redefine work.
Work. So this would be because you wouldn't have to go into your job to do all this mundane stuff that you do. You really love carpentry and you want to build this. And so you have 9 hours of the day to actually go and perfect your craft of being a carpenter.
I think we have some evidence in Gen Z that humans won't do that. They will just
you make
try
a
not to work.
Very good point.
I mean,
did we do that though?
Did we do that?
Yeah. Did we enable Gen Z?
Guys, have you ever not had a job in your life?
No, I'm not saying that. No,
Exactly.
I'm saying we enabled Gen Z.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. I mean, maybe you guys did. I didn't.
I've had jobs since I was 13. And I've normally had 2 jobs.
Yeah. No. It was our I don't know what's
started
different.
more when I was 12.
I don't know what is different, but when we were kids, we got
The
jobs.
internet,
And we never left.
smartphones.
We never stopped working. We just started doing more stuff on top of that.
Internet,
media.
phones, coupled with the fact that our parents came from parents who suffered through the Depression. So
Right.
our parents were brought up with this sense of knowledge of you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to work hard to get anything because nobody's going to give it to you.
Absolutely.
And our parents had tried to pass that along to us, and we got that. But what happened in the middle of our lives at age 17, 18, 19 years old of us, right in
High
the
fructose
formative
corn
years,
syrup.
high fructose corn syrup. No, the internet. The
Well, no,
internet happened.
I was
And the
listening to a
internet
fascinating
changed our
discussion
lives.
yesterday. There was a chaplain, and army chef or executive chef, and he was talking about how in the army, soldiers used to come in gaunt, like underweight and stuff, and
Yeah.
then there was a small period when they were stout, and then they're all coming in overweight.
Yep.
So you're looking at World War II era, little gaunt,
Mhm.
Vietnam, stout.
Stout.
And now you get down to Iraqi freedom and stuff, and you're starting to see these overweight
Fatso.
recruits coming in.
Fatso soldiers.
I
Yeah.
wasn't going to say that, but our food has changed.
I mean, well, no, it's gotten worse than that because now the men are wearing dresses, and you know.
Well, no, yes, you're funny, but you're right. The food has changed since 1970.
and we've become more sedentary.
Yeah, we have. We sit around.
You guys think I'm making a joke, but I think it's connected. I think that
Would our dads have
food
ever made a
that has
podcast?
poisoned us, has changed our hormones, and has blocked endocrines, and has stopped the men from producing and absorbing testosterone, and that has made them weaker.
Mhm.
So
Do
I
you know
think
what
it's the
Papa
same
would have
thing.
said about this? He would have said, "That's stupid. Why y'all doing? That's a waste of time. Get out and do something."
My dad don't know I do a podcast, and he will never know because he'd say the same thing. You need to be doing something. My dad used to say all the time,
Right.
I burn him. My dad is, I get my humor from my dad. So we're the same. And I look just like him.
Should have your dad on.
Yes, you do.
No, you would
I've never met your dad, but I saw the picture.
He is
You all
very
look alike.
humorous. He's a very funny guy. And he always would say, you know, to pick at me when we're around people. Yeah, Bub works in radio. He sits in a chair and presses buttons all day. I wish I could have that job. You know, I worked in this and tired and did this, blah, blah, blah. You know, and he would say that all the time. And I'd be like, yeah, you know. Well, I got him one day and I was like, he said that in front of some people. And I was like, don't blame me for being smart enough to convince a man to pay me to talk for a living. All right. And he was like, I was like, he's never made the joke again. It's like, yeah, I'm smart enough that I can convince people to let me talk and pay me to talk. So don't get mad at me. I don't have to
Yeah.
work hard.
You did what you could do. Yeah, I don't think these robots are going like replacing people and like create this utopian opportunity to just create artists. I don't think so.
More
I don't
concerned about
believe
replacing soldiers because you've just trained
Mm.
armies of robots. And then what's going to happen is this army is coming against this army. You know what? We're robots. We don't want to die. Why don't we just pair up? Boom.
They all turn-
And now we're turning our weapons on our creator. That's more of a what I would fear.
I had somebody ask me not too long ago about we was talking about AI music, and I actually pulled up one of our AI songs, "Tuck It Back, Tucker Black," and I was playing it for 'em. Yeah, I was like, you got to listen. I said, it's hilarious. I said AI, and I've heard a lot of these AI songs, and they said, do you think AI is going to completely take over music? And I was like, I think there will be a point coming up very soon where AI is going to greatly influence a lot of music. And I mean, half the stuff you listen to now is so auto-tuned, you'd never know that the real, but
Did I send you that video?
I said people are going to get sick, and if they're not already sick of this fake stuff, that a guy and a guitar is going to come back around. And
Right.
every guy, and then it's going to be like, this is so refreshing to hear something new and something real, that there's going to be a resurgence, and there really already is starting, of this folksy, folk, traditional, simple,
Right.
not freaking, this music is coming up everywhere. So I think there will be a resurgence, and I think you could probably use that formula for every industry. There will be a point to
The
where
artificial
There-
will create a demand for authentic.
right, the artificial will create a demand for authentic, because like, oh, this car was built by hand by this
Right.
guy, and it costs a little bit more, but so I think that's what's going to happen.
All right. Well, folks, it's joke time. Joke time. We're gonna end this show because I can't talk about you, but it's after 9. I gotta go to the bathroom.
It's after 10.
No, stop that. This is America, Central Time
Dude,
Zone.
I'm from the future.
Dave does live.
I remember when I was a kid, I opened my refrigerator and I saw some vegetables crying.
Oh yeah,
It hurt me. Yeah. I think I have some emotional cabbage.
that was bad.
Let us not applaud that. Let us not applaud that.
Yeah.
Let us
Let us.
not applaud that.
What do you call you both love superheroes and grew up on Marvel. That's
Sure,
how we
yeah.
all met.
Absolutely.
What do you call a superhero that stands on your outside your front door?
I don't know. What do you call that?
The Human Porch. Come on, the Human Porch.
Kids.
All right, I'm going to go back to
Okay.
this whole Butcher Paris thing. And
Oh,
I'm going to
yeah.
try to get this. Yeah,
Secret
yeah, yeah.
language.
Okay.
Okay.
I was in France not too long ago. Believe it or not.
Sorry.
And I ate some pancakes that were haunted.
Yeah.
They gave me
my.
the crepes.
Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back
Loud.
tomorrow.
Politicians and talking heads
Pete.
lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter